Good afternoon, family. I had to redo Ruth Chapter 1. I didn't realize that the sun was really bad. Like the breeze and stuff was blazing outside, so you couldn't really, her stuff was distracting. I'm like, man, if I don't want to listen to it, nobody else going to want to listen to this here. And I'm just trying to listen because I don't like, you know, watching TV myself. But this is going to be important, so I'm going to have to humble myself, literally, see if we can start from there. So we're going to do Ruth chapter 1 all over again. And I'm saying then we're going to go into Ruth chapter 2, Ruth chapter 3. And there's only 4 chapters in Ruth. Ruth was actually during the time of the judges. There was no king in the land. And the scripture is going to bring all that stuff out. So without further ado, here we go. Heavenly Father, please bless our understanding. Forgive us of our transgressions and feed us, Lord, till we want no more. Teach us, Lord, what you want us to know. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen. So here we go in the King James Version. It is Ruth chapter 1. Now it came to pass. You know how things always come to pass. It came to pass by. Your troubles come through and they pass by. You know what I'm saying? Your worries, they come through and then they pass by. Because he be taking care of that stuff. But anyway, here's the story. And it came, a love story at that. And it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled. No kings. There was no King Saul because he came after this. There was no King David. There was no King Solomon. There wasn't, none of the kings and stuff. Ahab, none of those kings was around. This is when God was king. And in choosing a king, we would rather have a king. They rejected God. God's been rejected time and time, blamed the whole 9 yards again. And we're going to see all this stuff here up in the scriptures. Now it came to pass in Ruth chapter 1, verse 1, that when the judges ruled, that there was a famine in the land. Folks know what famines are, where there ain't no food around, no, maybe not even drink. You know what I'm saying? That they had an economy shortage. Things wasn't working right. But the thing about the famines is, the Lord would allow the blessings, and He would allow the famines, and all for His benefit and for His rulership, and is in control of everything. Even in this famine, that seems to be not where it just seems to happen. Ain't nothing happen by circumstance. Nothing in your life happens by circumstance. Everything happens for a reason. And He has a divine order in allowing certain things to happen, including the hard times and the famines in your life. And we'll see exactly why. Because in order for Elimelech, that's his name, that's Papa's name, to come out of there, Providence had directed him to Moab. And we're going to read that. Moab was actually a heathen nation. And then they got married. And they were supposed to be mixing up with wives and stuff. But anyway, let's keep reading Ruth so we'll get there. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn, or, went to work and to live and stuff, in the country of Moab. He and his wife and his 2 sons. One thing about the scriptures is a lot of times you will start with a narrative for the first verse, and then after the next verse kind of opens up what we're speaking about in the previous verse before that. So, a lot of times, like an onion, like the more you peel, the more strength it is, and more, stuff that you would find. It brings things out in detail. So just remember that here whenever you can actually word like that. So it says, in verse 2, and the names of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife, Naomi. Now, what does Elimelech mean? Because one thing about these names, I'm going to got this tablet right here. And the tablet is, one of them Amazon tablets, but I have inside it a Strong's Concordance. And the Strong's Concordance, it would actually be able to detail certain things, in the scriptures, or what the names mean and what certain, because there's a lot of words in here that some things may be kind of old, some things never even heard before. So you want to be sure that we're keen on to seeing what the scripture is actually trying to tell us, as opposed to we trying to tell it what it is, what's in there. But it says the name of Elimelech means from El or Melech, God of King. Elimelech an Israelite. God is King. God is King. God of the King. It's God of the King. Elimelech, an Israelite. Elimelech. El, God of the King. All right. And so that's his name. And the name of his wife is named Naomi. Now Naomi is a different name. Her name means pleasant. Isn't that nice? Your wife is pleasant. That's what you want. You want a peaceful, pleasant wife. That's important. Anyway, a lot of times, even like the name. My name, by the way, is Nathan Ming. Folks, don't know. And my name means gift. And Ming, I believe, is king as well. And then I have two middle names as well, which one means bright, I believe it is, and the other one means. Anyway, I'll figure it out. It's been a while since I checked that. Anyway, and his wife Naomi, pleasant, and the name of his two sons Marlon, which I can't remember what that means, and Chilion. But let me just check what Marlon means. Mahlon, Ruth Chapter 1, verse 2. It means it doesn't really have his name here. It's got breakdowns of his name, but one of them from Chula was sick. He was sick. It's strange. And then the other name was Chilon, and that has also another name. Kilian, a single form of Chilion, pining, destruction, failing. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of messed up. Flame, utterly hell, burnt offering, substance, cruel, and Israelite. Primitive root to complete. Corresponding to complete, finish, set up. Anyway, that's the different breakdowns of the root word of his particular name. Pining or destruction. Ain't that kind of messed up? Both his sons, one sick and one's about to destruct. How you name your children this? Be careful what you name your kids. Number one. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, even if you've been named something that you have no control over, you didn't have to stay there. You didn't have to become what your name is. You don't have to do that. You can actually be able to say, you know what, though they name me X, Y, and Z, I'm going to have a new name. And I'm going to bring out the character of the name that I want to have. And that's very important. Anyway, let's go read on. And it says, verse 2, of his two sons, Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah, and they came into the country of Moab and continued there. So when they came to Moab was a heathen nation. I think it was cousins way back in the day. It started from Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah and all that. They had come from a heathen country. They had left Judah and went to the heathen country because there was problems in Judah. There's a famine in the land. So then they up and left and went to a place that was more prosperous. Just like Abraham and them, where they was kind of moving. And then Lot chose to go to Sodom because it was more prosperous over there. They had no problems with stuff that was happening, at least from afar. But when you go in, a whole lot of corruption. Verse 3, and Elimelech and Naomi's husband died. As soon as they get there to the country of Moab, Papa's going dead, dying. Wait a minute, what type of life is this? Y'all leaving with stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't afford to go empty. Y'all leaving with stuff. And you get over there to the other place, and all of a sudden, stuff starts to go wrong in your life. You leave a famine, and then get over there to Moab, and it's death. Ain't that something? So the God is king, Elimelech, dies. He didn't spend much time in the country. He's up and dead now. So now Naomi has no husband. But she still got her two sons. Thank God for that. And verse 3, and she was left and her two sons. Verse 4, and they took them wives of the women of Moab. Now we have her a strange thing, which is normally not really acceptable. Israelites generally do not take heathen women as their wives. They don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just the religions don't match. Y'all worshiping some god of something, and I'm worshiping the true God. So you're not supposed to be unequally yoked. But anyway, these guys was in Moab and did what the Moabs do. Romans do as the Romans do, and they decided that we're gonna be able to take some wives. See, a lot of times, depending on where you put your kids and how you raise them, depends on the type of wives that they choose. But we have something in her that was really, really, really encouraging. Because even if that does happen, you want to be able to make sure that you don't forget the relation that you're in. Because these boys were taught something. Mama taught something. God is king. They knew the truth. But let's keep reading. And they took of them the wives, the women of Moab. The name of one was Orpah. Oprah's was slightly changed around. And the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelt there about 10 years. So as soon as they get there, Naomi and her husband, Naomi's husband dies, and then you got the other two boys there. You got the other two boys. They hang around for about 10 more years, and then both of them died. So now this woman, her, has got no husband and no heritage, no legacy. Everybody's gone, except for these children that except for these sisters that are there, and sister-in-laws that are there. Who she's the riff. She has no sons no more. Sons are gone, husband's gone. So all left with just your with your two daughter-in-laws. It's just sad stuff. But let's see what character these daughter-in-laws are, because that's really important. And they dwelt there for about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died, both sons. Also both of them, and the women was left of their two sons and her husband. So now Naomi ain't got husband, she ain't got sons, she just got these two daughter-in-laws that are there with her. The ability to make money, because the man was generally the breadwinner, is going. You know what I'm saying? And her children, she has nothing to look forward to, it's all going. So now the next verse, in verse 6. Then she arose with her daughter-in-laws, that she might return from the country of Moab. And she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. So the famine is over, and now there's a time of rejoicing. And she's hearing, wait a minute, the economy has improved back where I'm from. It's time for me to go back home. So she decides to go ahead and do that. Go on back home. She hears, through the grapevine, hey, in Moab, that everything's doing good. So it's time for us to go. Ain't nothing her from me. I ain't a husband, he ain't her. I ain't a children, they ain't her. You know what I'm saying? No son. So it's like, yeah, it's time for me to go. And sorry, that the Lord had visited his people and given them bread. Verse 7, wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-laws with her. And they went on the way to return into the land of Judah. So now you got two Moabitish women and the mother-in-law, heading back towards to Judah. Now check this out. It's amazing how much respect and how much honor these heathen girls had. Both of them. They was like willing to follow the mother-in-law back to her country. A lot of times women generally don't want husbands from where they're from. You know what I mean? I know in the Dominican Republic, they tend to, there's been a bunch of videos where the girls like, I don't want to be with guys from my country. The male chauvinist minds, and they're taught that, that dirty breadwinner is not a masculine and macho society. We can have whatever amount of women we want. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to be faithful. They better be faithful to us, but we ain't got to be faithful to them. So a lot of times in them type of cultures, they ain't feeling none of that. You know what I'm saying? And more than likely, that's possibly what happened to Moab. She was a quote-unquote heathen's place. They believed how they want to believe, and it's not the way how folks are brought up. So the Moabites ladies, who were good women, obviously, was like, all right, well, let me choose these Jewish boys, the very good guys I like to be with. So, and the mother-in-law, was obviously a very good woman, because they wanted to hang around her. They asked for her advice. They wanted to follow her wherever she was going. But that's the amazing thing. In order for these women to want to be with her, they had to believe also in what she was into. They was like, you know what? I would rather go back with you to Judah. That's a good place. But there was a problem. And let's keep reading and see what the problem is. Wherefore, verse 7, she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughter-in-laws with her, and they went on their way to return to the land of Moab, of Judah. And Naomi said unto her two daughter-in-laws, go, return each one to her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. You've dealt well with my husband. You've done well with my sons. You've done well with me. You've treated all of us with such kindness and such beauty. You know what I'm saying? That you guys are such wonderful daughter-in-laws. But you need to go back to your houses. You know what I'm saying? Go back to what you're used to. Because what you're expecting to come over to my country is not going to happen. There's Jewish guys ain't gonna marry their Moabite women because in what taught you don't go be unevenly yoked. What we're gonna have children and you're gonna wait to have more sons because that's what it speaks about later. You know what I'm saying? What's the sense of you waiting for me to get remarried and have some sons, wait for them till they grow up and then you're gonna marry them? It make no kind of sense. But let's go see the logic of what's going on here. And Naomi said to her two daughters-in-law, go return each to her mother's house, and the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead and with me. Verse 9. The Lord grant you that you may find rest. There's nothing like when you're stressed and tired out that's a wonderful thing to be able to find rest. Each of you in the house of your husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. Get you some husbands from where you're from. Go back to your mother's house. I'm sure there's got to be some good men around. You go back and get that. That's not gonna work if you come with me. There ain't nothing good coming to you if you're coming with me. You know what I'm saying? Verse 10. And they said unto her, surely we will return with thee unto thy people. So both Orpah and Ruth said, look, we are definitely going back with you. What you have is quality. The stories that we heard from our husbands, the sick husband, the story here we heard from the destruction husband, the story we heard about even whatever we might have heard of, like from Elimelech or whatever you've taught us, we love what you're about. We're not even feeling what we're about. Our husbands told us about, this second coming and about this loving God that wants to love us and take care of us. We want to go back with you. Surely we return with thee unto thy people. And verse 11, and Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. Why would you go with me? What you going with me for? Are there yet any more sons in my womb that they may be your husbands? I'm out. I can't be around here, making these children and then be able to, have you wait for them and then it's not going to work like that. Verse 12, turn again, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. Ladies, there comes a time, at least in some ladies' lives, most times it comes a point where you're just too old. For whatever reason, you can't bear kids or you become invisible. You know what I'm saying? And where it's thought that, you're too old. You're past the age of when you're supposed to be bearing children, or past the age of where, folks are looking for a suitable wife. Because, there's a time limit for the ladies. There just is. There's a time limit for them best to be in the flower of the youth, to be able to date and to marry and to bear children. Because after a while, all that stuff stops. And then, this is not best, for the ladies. Trying to get my daughters and go your way, for I am too ill to have an husband. And if I say I have hope, if I should have an husband also tonight, and should also bear sons. Now, even if I got some hope, and even if I got married tonight and started having children tonight and bear them, what, you gonna wait? That make no kind of sense. It said, would you tarry for them? Verse 13, until they were grown, would you stay for them from having husbands? No, my daughters, for it grieves me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. I am hurt that God has messed me around and gave me so much else in my life. I ain't feeling none of it. It's hurt me. I came out with everything working nice, and all of a sudden, husband dies. A few more years later, sons die. Ain't nothing going to go for me. Things ain't. Hey, I'm fed up with how things are going. God's dealt hard with me. God's always getting me blamed. I know that in my life, I'll be blaming him for a lot of stuff. Why you do this for? Why you do this for? Why you do this for? It's like common knowledge. It's like the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But thank God, God's not like us. He don't cast us away because he's tired, because he's vexed, because he's upset. He holds on strong. And he keeps staying with us. You know what I'm saying? I will never leave you or nor forsake you. I ain't doing none of that. I heard what you're saying, that you're upset and vexed with me. But thank God I knew the end from the beginning. So anyway, would you tarry for them till they were grown, verse 13? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieves me much for your sakes, that the hand of the Lord is going on against me. Verse 14. And they lifted up their voice and wept again, heard out a crying. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. Orpah kissed her goodbye. Orpah said, you know what? You're right. It's logical. It makes sense. I'm going to have to go back. Go ahead back and do what you got to do. That's the best thing. That's the best thing. Go ahead for you. Go ahead back. Don't worry about hanging around here. So, and in sadness, they parted. Orpah didn't want to leave, and Naomi didn't want him to come. But it's like, what else we can do? Ain't nothing good working out for me. The Lord's had his testified against me, and his final judgment and final that you are to suffer. You got to go through life to suffer, and that's how she felt, and that's what happened. But Ruth clave to her. Why are you going to hang around for it, Ruth? Ruth is like, you know what? I know all the bad things that's going to happen. I mean, I know that ain't nothing good can come out of this that I have any faith of. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to hold on. I'm going to hang on. What? Wait a minute. Let's go read on. And she said in verse 15, behold, thy sister-in-law is going back. It's Naomi. Hey, your sister's going back, to her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. Look, your sister, Orpah, is going to turn back. She's going back to her own mother. She's going back to her own gods and her belief system. She's going back. Go back with her. I ain't got nothing for you. Ain't nothing good coming from her. Folks ain't looking to marry you because you're not from two different people like. It's not in our laws. We're not supposed to do that. But let me see what it says right here. After thy sister-in-law, verse 16, and Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God, my God. What type of faith is this? I'm poor. I have nothing going for me. I'm going back penniless, basically. I ain't got nothing, and we're going back begging, We're going back suffering. We're going back. You're not the type of woman that the guys want to marry. You're not from the same spot. You know what I'm saying? You don't believe what we believe. You know what? Like unequally yoked. It's not gonna be in your best favor. But Ruth says, look, don't keep begging me please don't beg me to leave you. I'm not gonna leave you. And so wherever you're going, I'm going. And verse 17 went even deeper. Where thou diest, I will die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me. I'm hanging around in your life till death do us part. What did Ruth learn in the time that she was with her husband? In the time that she was talking with her mother-in-law, and whatever time they spent with Abimelech? What did she learn? She had to learn some good Christian Bible study in order for her to say, you know what? I'm going to forsake my past. I'm going to forsake what I've been told and follow and do what you've been told. And Naomi is saying, no, stay with your people. She's like, don't keep saying that. I'm coming with you. If wherever you're dying, I'm dying. That's amazing. How do you press forth like that, knowing that you have nothing good to look forward to, but you just feel an urge to go? Anyway, when she saw, verse 18, that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left speaking unto her. After you talked and talked, and she which makes no sense, gave her logical examples for her to be able to hang around, to go. She wants to hang around. All right, then. You come on with me. Verse 19. So they two went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi? Whew. Y'all going and left with all this stuff, and you came back with nothing. And the city, a lot of these times, they didn't have the internet and all that deal. They had, folks spreading the word from person to person. So I bet it was the women, especially, that was like, you know what? Naomi's back. Oh my gosh. She's back. I wonder how things was. She probably, and the whole city was like this. She had to be greatly respected. Elimelech and them were respected people in the community. Had to be, in order for them to actually notice them come back. And the whole city was moved by them, which means they had been popular people, and probably flossing at that. Verse 20, and she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, call me Mara. Now, when I checked earlier, the pleasant one, Naomi, so don't call me pleasant. I ain't feeling pleasant no more. I am, if you look at Mara, M-A-R-A, first thing that comes up, it says she is bitter. Not better, bitter. Call me bitter. That's how I feel, because things ain't going right for me in my life. I'm around here struggling, and I'm not happy, not at all. Call me Mara, and guess who's to blame? For the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. He's done rough me up, and I'm not feeling that. I'm not happy with that. This is very bitter. It just messed my life up. I went out full, had husband, children, stuff, and the Lord had brought me home again empty. Why call me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty has afflicted me? Why are you calling me pleasant? I'm not feeling pleasant. I'm feeling bitter. I have nothing compared to what I went out with. Ain't you like that sometimes when things be going your way and you're just taking a whole lot of hours in your life? I know. That's my life. It's been like that all this time. But that's how it is, and blaming God is the first thing that comes to your mind. Especially if you've been trusting him. Like, why is it that why you rough me up for? And so, what have I done to you to deserve such cruelty? Anyway, verse 21. I went out full, and the Lord hath brought me back again empty. Why call me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the mighty afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab, and they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of the barley harvest. So they came by when it was the harvest time. She came there, she went to her husband's sons, came back with one daughter-in-law, and came back poor. My goodness. And you're coming back with a girl that is not expecting to be of marriage minded. She's not, she's good to you. Ain't a man gonna want her. She's like, we didn't accept her. We don't expect no, that's, we're not supposed to be married into marrying with these women at all. So she had nothing to look forward to, this Ruth. All she had was this faith. And you know what else she was? This is the most important part about Ruth. Let's get this. Ruth, who was a heathen, became converted. Key number one. If you want to find your Boaz, you got to be converted. Don't expect stuff. Don't expect houses. Don't expect muscles. Don't expect him giving stuff. Don't expect, my retirement plan. Don't expect none of these things. The man that you should be serving for and looking for first before you look for your Boaz Gotta look for your Jesus. That's the first person you look for. And guess what? He has knows how to be able to attach and hook people up properly. He's the mind fixer, heart regulator, and is also into relationships. We're gonna find at the end, the next chapter, as far as the relationship that he actually hooked up. That it seems to be by chance. But ain't nothing happened by chance. Everything happens for a purpose, and everything happens for a reason. So, folks, tomorrow we're hoping to be able to see if we can be able to continue on with Ruth Chapter 2. See if I can upload this bad boy as soon as possible. Anyway, it's been real. Time for me to get back to work, and y'all stay blessed. It's your boy.